Resilience series from September to December 2017 and our fourth Wellness Wednesday. Today we have with us Nikki Karn, who is the Health and Wellness Coordinator at Stuart Olson, which is a name you recognize, a Canadian construction company. Nikki and I are colleagues in the corporate wellness world, and we met at some conferences, and I know she has a great background in nutrition. So that's why I asked her to come here today and talk about fast nutrition in a fast-paced world. So first of all, good morning, Nikki.
Good morning, Tara.
Tell us a little bit about your background in nutrition.
Sure. So I guess first things first, I have a degree in human kinetics. So I studied a lot of nutrition courses during my degree, such as nutrition for athletes, nutrition for special populations, such as the elderly, nutrition for chronic disease management. It was always the most fascinating topic for me. So always the one that I really paid the most attention to and ensured that it was something that I took away into a career post-university. So yeah, now I'm in a role kind of similar to Tara's of educating and supporting people in a corporate and a broad environment and trying to just get people to think a little bit more about proactive ways to support their health, with nutrition being a big piece of that.
Yes, and that's why you're here today to enlighten us. And I know as we were preparing today, I learned lots of things. So let's dive in. Our series is focused on rejuvenation and resilience. So how is nutrition related to our resilience?
Yeah, so I mean, in today's busy world, as we all know, it can sometimes be extremely difficult to focus on healthy eating. During tough times, if you're experiencing hardships, or if you're stressed out because of work, or if life is feeling pretty go with your own routines and your kids' routines, nutrition can very easily get put on the back burner or, taken off the stove altogether. So often during these times, it's when we reach for convenience foods. So I know some kind of go-tos could be taking a pizza out of the freezer and tossing that in the oven for dinner, or ordering takeout.
I've done that too.
And hey, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just what we tend to go to, and maybe sometimes a little too much. So freezer meals, takeout, fast food, or sometimes during times of stress or busyness, just skipping meals altogether. Either one of those routes, I mean, reaching for the kind of packaged convenience items, you're getting poor nutrients, or if you're skipping meals, you're not getting nutrients at all. And this is a problem because proper nutrition is so crucial to both our physical and mental health. And especially during these difficult times, it's important for coping. It's important to get food as fuel for your brain and to have a strong and robust immune system so that, you can roll with the punches of life and continue to keep doing what you're doing without getting sick a lot. So yeah, for our brains, for our bodies, really every system in our body is dependent on getting this proper nutrition. So I really see mental and physical resilience as strongly tied in with nutrition, especially during those tough and busy times. So yeah, today's talk is really going to be about some practical strategies to help you guys cultivate healthy eating habits, make your life a little bit easier, hopefully during these times where resilience is so important.
Okay, perfect. I'm ready to take some notes. So tell us a bit about some of the healthy eating habits that you think are the most important.
Sure. So I guess before we get into some strategies, what does healthy eating actually look like? I mean, if you've ever tried to go on a diet or, clean up your eating in any way, I'm sure you can feel overwhelmed at times. There's a lot of information out there, and at times it can feel a little bit overwhelming as to, what do I focus on, the carbs or the fats or the calories or the sodium or what have you. So I think, to me, bringing it back to the basics is really important. So Michael Pollan, great author, he said it best, I think, when he boiled it down to his motto, which is eat food, not too much, mostly plants. So those 7 words, I think, really say a lot in and of themselves. But to me, what does that look like? Well, eat food, eat whole food primarily. The less you reach for packaging, the better, of course. Fruits and veggies being the main part of your diet, so trying to incorporate those into meals and snacks as much as possible. Getting a good blend of things like carbs, fats, and proteins, not seeing any one of those as the enemy, avoiding carbs at all costs, or, oh, can't have fat in my diet, only protein's the good one. Like, don't see it like that. See it as all three of those as a blend being very important. Not too much. I think that's, the next thing is it's important to really consider portion sizing to make sure that you're doing that in practical and meaningful ways. So when you go to serve dinner at night, not having all the food out in front of you on the table and just reaching for things because they're there. Plate up at the counter, put the food away, and eat the portion that's in front of you. Or, if you are grabbing a treat like some chips to go sit and watch a movie, portion it out in advance, put it in a bowl. Don't bring the whole bag over, because heaven knows what's going to happen then. You're going to destroy that bag. I know
I know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. And then, the last point, again, just mostly plants. It's not saying that you have to be a vegetarian, but I mean, it's never been shown in any type of nutrition research that there could be, an issue with fruits and vegetables. Other things seems to be, shaky science or mixed results or mixed reviews, but fruits and veggies, always safe. Put those in your diet as much as possible and you're good to go. And then I guess just one final point is how to eat. So regular eating, making sure that you have 2 to 3 meals with some healthy snacks in between. Really why that's important is ensuring that your brain has carbohydrates to get you through the day. You need about 120 grams of carbs just for your brain function in a day alone. So ensuring that happens regularly throughout the day so that you can function, you can cope, you can deal with the day's challenges.
I know, and I keep thinking about how much time we all put into packing our kids' lunch. So my son's in grade 1, and how thoughtful I am about that healthy lunch and his healthy snacks and breaking it all up for the day. And then do I take that much care with the food I eat in 24 hours? Let's say I try, but not quite. And I love this idea about 7 words. So if any of us can take something away today, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. There you go. Helps you at the grocery store, helps you when you're in the kitchen. 7 words to live by. Okay.
Absolutely.
I love that. I really love that. What do you think is the best strategy to build these healthy eating habits?
I think first and foremost, the best thing, your plan A, is to take a food first approach and really, know what you're putting in your body. So going for things that are homemade, fresh, and whole. I think we all know that to some extent, but we tend to get caught up in the busyness, or during times of stress, we don't, take that time to grocery shop, pack our lunch, etc. So a few kind of strategies and kind of rules to go by, ways to plan your week around. Number 1, grocery shopping. Making sure that you are actually setting some time aside, schedule it in like you would a doctor's appointment or what have you, but make sure that is a priority, that's going to happen. You constantly have fresh food in your house that you can reach for. Don't have time to grocery shop? Maybe it's a crazy week. Well, guess what? There's some cool new 21st century options out there for you. Online grocery shopping. Places like Superstore, they have this click and collect program. You can order online, swing by, pick up your your groceries at the store on your way home. Or something like, Save on Foods or Spud. These are places that will actually deliver the food products to your home. Another one to think about too is meal support programs. So one that Tara and I talked about recently is called Simply Supper. So you kind of pick and choose from their menu of what you want. You can either choose that they prepare these meals for you, or that you go in and you actually get to kind of pick from the food that they've prepared, put it together, pay for it based on the amount that you get, and bring it home. So it just makes kind of that prep step a lot easier. So, first thing first, put that time aside to grocery shop. Bring your kids along to spend some, quality time together. If you can, make sure that there isn't a fight erupting in the grocery store. I know that happens for a lot of parents, but, making quality time together. And if you don't have time for that, looking at online at what other options exist. So.
And I think that's my second big takeaway from our conversations is the grocery service. Like, I can't believe how much time it's always like, when are we going to go grocery shopping? And we have to go grocery shopping. And for me and my family, that is the cornerstone of how we're going to eat for the rest of the week. So thoughtful grocery shopping when maybe you're not under pressure to make some healthier choices. Then when the wheels fall off the train and you're at home and you're in those pressure situations with all the kids and the dogs and got to get to hockey, at least you're choosing from healthy ingredients. But now, I mean, I have to check out these grocery services because I think you were saying too, like it's hardly any cost.
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that the Superstore, the click and collect program, you can sign up for your first month free, and then I think it's $3 at certain times to do a pickup. I mean, $3 for someone to grocery shop for you, that's pretty amazing. Or $5, I think, at other times, the busier times. So yeah, definitely something to look into. But yes, now of course you have all these groceries, and prep time is another thing that obviously needs a bit of time penciled in throughout the week. So same thing, schedule that in advance and overlap it with your other priorities. You know, if you see it as being this big looming chore to prep your meals and snacks for the week, try and overlap it. Again, get your kids involved. Pick some things that they can do and have that as quality time together. If it's just you know, maybe throw on a podcast or put on your favorite show on Netflix, or with your spouse, or call a friend, you know, put it on speakerphone and be doing some prep work while you catch up with someone you haven't spoken to in a while. So overlap some priorities, and I think you're more willing to see it as positive, beneficial time, as opposed to, oh man, one more thing on my big old to-do list. Yeah, so prep's huge. The other thing too, think about ways to make it a bit easier in the kitchen. Items such as a slow cooker or a food processor, things like that just take away time, make it a bit easier on you, make it so that there's less hurdles for you to want to have this homemade fresh food in your house.
And finally, the slow cooker.
Yeah,
I love the slow cooker. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be fancy. Oh my gosh, you can just grab a few things out of your pantry, a few things out of your freezer, and throw together a pretty basic chili. Or, you know, one of my favorites is chicken and salsa, and put it in there and have shredded chicken with salsa that kind of flavors it and zests it up a little bit. Like, how easy is that? And you get home and throw it on some tacos and dinner's ready. Wonderful. So
wow,
yeah.
I feel like even I could do that, and anyone who knows me knows I'm the worst cook in the entire world. So even I can do that. I know where the slow cooker is. We have salsa, we have chicken. Nikki, I'm inspired. Okay, this is amazing. So grocery services, meal services. I love this overlapping sort of the chore idea with other priorities, like putting on your favorite music, calling your best friend who doesn't live in Calgary or Edmonton, wherever you are, making it a dance party with the kids. I could see us doing that. I really love that idea. And of course, the slow cooker. The slow cooker is a cornerstone of getting ready for the week.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, I'm not, honestly, disclaimer, I'm not super big on cooking either. So the easier I can make it and the simpler the meals, the better. You just got to make sure that there's some healthy, wholesome ingredients in there, and boom, you're good to go. One of the things that my partner and I have is a kind of healthy go-to meals list that we keep up on the fridge, so that if it is a night that, you know, I'm getting out to a volunteer commitment after work and he's going off to his class that evening, you know, we have this list, and it's like, oh yeah, that's in our pantry. Oh, that's in our fridge. Perfect. Let's throw that out for dinner tonight. So something as simple as doing, you know, a basic frittata with eggs and veggies, a little side salad, and some toast, or having these pita pizzas. Pitas keep for a long time in the fridge, putting that out with some pesto from the fridge, some whatever veggies we can scrounge up, put some light feta on there, and perfect. You got yourself these little homemade pizzas that are a lot healthier than what you'd pick up in the store. Maybe it's tuna melts with veggies, maybe it's kind of these roast chickpeas with couscous, things like that, where it can be these simple, just throw it together type of meals that really make it a lot healthier than what you get elsewhere. So what are the benefits of this? I mean, yeah, let's bring this back to resilience, because I think people often think nutrition, oh, that's for, you know, my physical health and that's for weight control. Well, it's for a lot of things, you know. Yes, with your physical health, it's weight control, chronic disease management. It's also for your immune system. It's for your brain to be able to function well. It's for energy levels, just actually feeling good, not feeling bogged down because of poor food choices. And then mental health as well. So honestly, the more you kind of take control of your life and feel like you're providing healthy food for yourself, for your partner, for your kids, you feel resilient. You feel in control, and you start to get this kind of snowball of positive changes. You feel good about saving money. You feel good about being healthy and setting an example for other people. So I think all of these just help you to build resilience in a lot of different ways.
I agree. I agree on everything you just said. Okay. So we talked about healthy habits. We talked about ways to make it happen. And now, what about those times when you just can't make it happen? So you're traveling, you're busy, the grocery shopping, the prep time, it's fallen off the wagon this week. So what are some of your recommendations when you're just too busy for the healthy grocery shopping and cooking?
Yeah, awesome. So plan A, as I mentioned, is that food first approach. So that brings us to plan B, which is the fast food approach. And it's definitely okay to stop and get fast food. I think that's something that we often feel, guilty about or try and hide or something like that, right? Like it's something that we think, oh, that's just terrible all in and of itself. But I'm honestly of the belief that it really is about just doing your research and knowing what you're putting in your body, because you can absolutely make some healthier choices and you can absolutely make some terrible choices when it comes to eating out at a fast food joint or restaurant or what have you. So yeah, with the first example, plan A, know what you're putting in your body with fresh food. Plan B is also know what you're putting in your body, but you need to put in a little bit of time to do your research. So use your smartphone, use your internet. Pretty convenient that we have this unlimited information in the palm of our hand that's available. So take a little bit of time, go online. If you're stopping at, Tim Hortons that morning and you're waiting in the line to, do your pickup at the window there, take a little bit of time to look at what some healthier choices are when it comes to their menu items. TimHortons.ca, that's as simple as that. There's other places online that kind of do a compilation of things. So it's like fastfoodnutrition.org would be a great one to go and compare and be able to filter by, calories or whatever and see what some healthier choices are in the menu. Also, too, it's in those places. So if you're standing in line about to order a sub at Subway, chances are they have one of those little printout pamphlets that you can take a look and see what some healthier condiments are. Oh, man, that bread's terrible, but that one's not so bad. Taking a little bit of time to just increase that awareness and make some healthier choices. So the best thing too with this is to then make a note of it. So it's not just a one-time thing. Make a note in your smartphone or write it out on a Post-it, slide it in your wallet. So you have this kind of little cheat sheet for the next time that you stop there. I think we're all creatures of habit. I tend to stop at the same 3 or 4 places and don't really branch out past that. So if I know I'm gonna be there again, why not write out what some of the best choices are and be able to pick from those whenever I'm, swinging in to grab lunch.
And I think too, there are some new choices coming on the market. And, in my role, people keep coming and talking to me about Freshie and chopped leaf. So I love the idea of doing a little bit of research around, Tim Hortons, Subway, McDonald's, Freshie, chopped leaf, so that, yeah, you are in control when you're there choosing from their menu and you know what you're getting. It's not something maybe advertised as healthy, but in fact, when you look at all the numbers. So speaking of that, I know you've done some great research for us, giving us a few examples. Can you show us what a day of unhealthy choices looks like versus a day of healthy choices?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, trying to pick from a menu, sometimes you just kind of don't know. Like you look at a menu item and you're like, oh, that says salad, so it's got to be healthy. Or, oh, hey, whole grains, ancient muffin, like that's got to be healthy, right? Juice, 100% fruit juice over pop. Well, honestly, that's not the case. With each one of those examples. So say you do go into a place like Tim Hortons and you're wanting a snack mid-morning, if you pick their ancient grains raspberry muffin, you're actually getting about 2 times the calories and about 5 times the fat as something like the chocolate dip donut. So sounds pretty healthy, sounds like a good, smart choice, and really isn't. They can put whatever they want in there and smack whatever title on the menu that they want. Same thing with a salad. So you go to McDonald's and you're like, oh, I'm gonna, make a bit of a healthier choice for myself today. I'm gonna get the salad. So you get their crispy chicken Caesar salad, which has the exact same amount of calories and actually a bit more fat and more salt than the Big Mac hamburger. So just because
I
it says
can't
salad.
even believe what you just said. Like, obviously, I would take the muffin over the donut, standing there feeling all righteous about my healthy choice. And same thing at McDonald's. I'm sure all of us have been in that situation where you actually feel the guilt of going to have fast food, and then you think, well, at least now I'm here, I'll make some healthy choices. But in fact, we're not. So I just want to drive home what you're saying is just a little bit of research to empower you to make those choices if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
I think so too. And definitely the juice and the pop thing. I know a lot of people will give their kids juice but not give them pop because pop's not healthy. Juice is just a boatload of sugar in a beverage. I think, even though it says 100% fruit juice and sure you're getting some vitamin C or potassium in it, doesn't mean that it's going to be any healthier when that blood sugar, spikes, when, insulin response has to come in. And that honestly doesn't present itself in a healthy way either, just like with pop. As you said, I did want to do a bit of a comparison between a day of making healthy choices versus unhealthy choices. So I'm going to start off with the unhealthy, or we're going to start off with a bad day of eating. And I'm going to have the example where you go into Tim Hortons for breakfast, Subway for lunch, and Moxie's for dinner. So that's both good day and bad day, and then see what a bad day of eating at this place looks like versus a good day of eating. So bad day. So you go into Tim Hortons that morning and you order the sausage BLT on 12 grain. Lunch at Subway, you head in there and you grab a 6-inch, and it's a spicy Italian on Italian urban cheese. Have some Monterey cheddar on there, house sauce, mayo, pickles, veggies, toss a bunch of stuff on there. That's why I said loaded. And Moxie's dinner, so you go in there and you get the chicken Madeira rigatoni with bread. So you might even have, this day of eating out where you think, that wasn't too bad, right? Like I had a breakfast sandwich that had vegetables on it. I chose a 6-inch at lunch instead of the 12-inch. And I didn't get an appy or a dessert or anything like that at dinner. So this is just a day of these 3 meals, no sides, no snacks, no drinks, whatever. And your total clocks in at almost 3,000 calories. Whereas the average adult needs probably closer to about 2,000, 2,200. For me, as a small person, a bit less than that even. And at 193 grams of fat, along with 7,151 milligrams of sodium. So just to show you a little bit of what that actually looks like, fat, the 193 grams, we're wanting to be a bit closer to about 50 to 80. So right there, you've got about 3 days worth of fat just in those 3 meals alone. And here's what that looks like. So this is
yuck.
almost like a burrito size amount of fat. And that's 1 day of eating out in these restaurants. So, pretty big hit right there. Your body's going to have a very tough time dealing with that and trying to metabolize that, along with over 7 grams of salt. So that's what 7 grams of salt looks like when we want a bit closer to about 1,500 in a day.
Wow.
So actually right there, that's almost 5 days worth of sodium in those 3 meals. So huge hit right there.
And that's not with adding any salt onto the meals. It's not with, there's no snacks. Like, honestly, I would still be hungry if I had just what you had there. So that's a pretty conservative total.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not including drinks, the hash brown that you would have been asked to order with your breakfast, nothing like that. So here's what a day of better choices looks like when you go into these same 3 restaurants. So breakfast at Tim Hortons, instead of getting the bigger BLT, get an egg and cheese on an English muffin. Going into lunch at Subway, also getting a 6-inch, but this time it's a turkey breast on 9 grain. You can still have, cheese, some mustard, some fresh veggies on there. And dinner at Moxie's, getting the steak salad with dressing. So these actually clock in at 916 calories, 29 grams of fat, and 2,600 milligrams of sodium. So first thing first, I'm not saying stop there, because as you mentioned, you'd still be hungry. You'd actually probably be hangry. I would not want to be your friend if all you was eating was 900 calories in a day. But what really, I guess the message behind this is that it leaves room for other things. You know, have some healthy snacks, that apple and those nuts that you had at the office, or, you know, the Greek yogurt that you brought in, or some popcorn when you're sitting on the couch later with your family watching a movie. Have a glass of wine with dinner. Like, all of these things that you can now kind of add in and know that you're not going overboard as you already were in the previous example. So with this one here, you know, comparing this day to the other day, you're getting a third of the calories, you're getting a third of the sodium, and actually 1/7 of the fat. So here's what the fat from that day of eating looks like.
Much better.
Much more realistic. Yes, exactly. And same thing with the sodium. That's about 2.5 or 2.6 grams. So comparing the two side by side, I mean, huge difference in salt intake right there, just from making some better choices. And the fat, I mean, that one's astounding to me, when they could have that much fat hidden in 2 sandwiches and, you know, a sauce on a pasta. That's mind-blowing. I think we all would have thought probably the carbs were the villain in this scenario, but it's the fat by far. So yeah, I mean, make some healthier choices, and simply taking a look at the menu and educating yourself, empowering yourself to know what you're actually putting in your body is huge. And a quick note, I do want to add in, because I always see sugar as being one of the biggest things that we can just kind of make some simple changes in our diet and be a lot healthier and a lot more resilient, is the drinks. So if you were to have ordered a medium caramel latte with your breakfast and grabbed a drink out of the cooler there at Subway, so a Dole strawberry kiwi 100% fruit juice, and then had, you know, a can of dinner, or sorry, a can of pop at dinner, this is what that looks like. 680 calories and 144 grams of sugar. So, I mean, there's number one is your 38 grams in your drink that morning. So medium latte. Couldn't even fit the same container for the Dole juice at lunch. Huge amount of sugar that you're getting in that juice. And then there's a can of pop. So, I mean, all three of those things together, you're looking at a pretty substantial amount of sugar.
Like, imagine just trying to eat that bag of sugar. Like, imagine that.
That's revolting.
Yeah. And so just to be clear, because we have a lot of thoughtful discussions around, you know, what kind of food we buy and pay for at ATB. And, you know, we've tried to suggest and recommend less pop and juice. And some people are still a bit on the fence about, you know, juice is healthy, juice is healthy. So we have a similar kind of display with all the sugar content. And I think your visual is great, because it's the visual that drives it home for people that, you know, maybe 20, 30, or 40 years ago, juice could have been a little more healthy. But the type of juice we're getting now at the store, at the grocery store, in the cafeteria, that they're giving our kids at school, it's basically sugar water.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like saying, oh, juice is healthy, you're getting these nutrients in it, but it's giving your kid a multivitamin and then a big thing of sugar to swallow it down with, right? It's, you know, pretty on par with that, in my opinion. So really, when it does come to crunch time, I mean, you're stopping, you're getting fast food, you're getting some food in your kids on the way to hockey or dance or soccer, you're traveling for work, you're stopping and getting fast food frequently. Know what you're putting in your body. Takes a little bit of time, you know, take that time to understand what is actually going on. If you were to be charged an amount that was unexpected as far as the price for this food goes, if suddenly you got your bill and you're like, that's not right, that's way too much, you'd be mad. Well, I think the same thing can be true about the health content of it. You know, suddenly finding out that, oh my gosh, that salad is actually way worse for me than that butter chicken fettuccine on the menu, like that's not okay. So, you know, educate yourself so that you can be aware of these things. And similar benefits to the the first example, where you're getting these physical health benefits, such as a bolstered immune system, your blood pressure. I mean, imagine the difference in the spike in blood pressure from that salt content in a day. So already, if you're stressed and your blood pressure is high, and then you're adding in this much salt to it, that's not going to help either. So physical health benefits to your brain, your blood pressure, your immune system, really every system in your body, and mental health benefits as well. Again, you feel in control, you feel empowered, you feel knowledgeable, you feel as though you're doing good things for your body, and that snowballs into more positive changes. So I really do think that you start to feel more resilient just by being a bit more in control of what you're eating.
Wow. Okay. So many great takeaways here. So, Nikki, I'm going to ask you about some of your own tips in your life for making healthy eating habits and choices and nutrition. And I made a list of, what I'm trying to do at my house. We all have room to do better. And yes, whole bags of potato chips have disappeared at my house more than once. I'm not perfect, but the more you learn, as you said, the more empowered you are, the more education you have, the better you do. And it's slow steps. None of this happened in my house overnight. This has happened over the last 7 years, I'd say. So we're at a point now where we don't have any pop or juice in the house. We still get bombarded with pop and juice at every single birthday party and event that we go to. So there's pop and juice in our life, but there isn't any in our house. My husband and I took the sugar out of our coffee. Now, that's a big hit of sugar because we drink a lot of coffee, I'll say. We do. So, one of those little containers you have, we probably each cut that out a day. The other thing, education wise, I was so shocked. Like you said, I got a crazy sugar bill on the yogurt we were eating. And we were eating yogurt every day that was just loaded with sugar, like 20 grams of sugar. So we slowly, and for any of the parents out there, slowly mixed the sugar yogurt with the non-sugar yogurt until we adjusted to the taste. And so we've done that. But the focus is on groceries, as you said, Nikki, and role modeling really motivates me on those times when I want to make the less healthy choice, when I know there's little eyes watching me. So anyway, from one just regular team member to another, those are some of the things that we're striving to do in our house.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I really like the kind of the weaning approach. I think it can be like that with anything, juice. Yeah. Still have a bit of juice in your house, but add some water in with it, make it so that it's a little bit more diluted and something that isn't as much of that blood sugar spike for you or for your kids. Yeah, that's awesome. For me, I know one of the big ones is just separating my day-to-day eating from my celebratory eating. So going out and grabbing fast food or something for lunch today, yeah, I'm going to be trying to make a healthy choice. It's just something I'm doing on my own to make sure that I have fuel for my day. Versus, tomorrow night, it's a friend's birthday. We're going out for dinner. That's celebratory eating. Yeah, split an appy, have a nicer dinner, have some wine with your dinner and see it as being in the right context of food amongst friends and socializing and just that kind of celebration of food. That's a big part of our culture. That's what brings us together as humans. But I think that's very different than the day-to-day eating at work, at home, on the road to try and just ensure that you have nutrients for your body. And then, yeah, one change at a time. You can't make every change overnight. You can't try and suddenly overhaul your life because that's going to add to your stress. You're not going to be more resilient. You're not going to have sustainable changes if you try and change it all. So pick one thing that motivates you, that inspires you, that's meaningful for you, and stick with it.
Wow. Okay. Well, my top takeaways from our conversation today, I think the 7 words: eat food, not too much, mostly plants. 7 words to live by. I love that. The chat about our grocery services and meal services, I mean, that's a worthy investment in a bit of time to check that stuff out. Could really lower your stress and give you back some time in your life. And also, I feel like if I was ordering online, I could make those really healthy choices and I wouldn't be in the chocolate bar aisle when I'm tired and hungry on the fence, and who knows what kind of decisions I'd make. And I really love your visuals today because we don't have as much of a background in nutrition as you. So the visuals around the sugar in all the drinks and the fat choices are really, I think, going to stick with lots of us. So Nikki, I can't thank you enough. I mean, it was great to meet you a couple years ago, get to know you and find out your background in nutrition. And we're just so lucky to have you here today sharing some of your practical, relatable, doable tips.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tara. It was nice to be here.
Cool. Okay, so we are halfway through the Rejuvenation and Resilience series. This is part 4, and we have 4 more to come. So stay tuned. You can find all the information in the wellness community, and you can find the links to the Wellness Wednesdays also in our wellness calendar. If you have any questions, you can email wellness@atv.com or me anytime, Tara. Thanks, Nikki, and everybody, do your best, make healthy choices, but then enjoy it when you want to celebrate. Bye for now.